Honestly, I think the bartender put a little too much salt on Richard Abraham's margarita.
With me, I have the new WMC Intercontinental Champion and Triumphant Champion, Hey, Abasolo. I was excited about the Alex Bublea matchup when they announced it because he's a man that loves to trade. Like he ends up in a lot of wars, and your style, seeing that, I was excited for it. One thing I was shocked on was how big he was.
Yeah, I was very shocked. I don't know why I got the I don't know where I read it or someone told me or whatnot, but this entire camp, I had the idea that he was only 5'10", that we were the same height.
Yeah.
And then when I seen him, I was looking at his shoes, see if he had like, thick soles or something. And I was like, no. I was like, man, this guy's tall. Oh, well, it's cool.
Talking about the matchup, how did you see the fight? Like, did you see it? Did you see? Was it a perfect outcome for you, or did you see any things that you needed to do different?
Personally, I thought it was perfect, perfect, not that I was flawless, perfect because I was able to be tested, perfect because I clearly thought I won. If you watched that last round and my demeanor, it wasn't a front. Um, and yeah, it was perfect.
Yeah. Going into the commentary, they had it going 3-2, so 4-1 and 3-2, kind of 3 rounds to 2 or 4 rounds to 1 for Alex Bublé. I had it going the other way. Like the best outcome for Alex Bublé was 3-2, you win, and then 4-1. I even had in another time I watched it. The one thing they said was the commentary saying that he was landing a lot of power shots. I didn't see you phased or dazed in any of the power shots. And when I think of power, I think of damage. There wasn't that much damage.
I mean, that's funny to me. I don't really, the commentary, they did their job, uh, which is to comment on the fight, their perspective. Uh, Honestly, I think the bartender put a little too much salt on Richard Abraham's margarita, but you know,
Yeah.
but it is what it is, man. I'm just commentating on their commentary. But yeah, that it's funny how they say the power shots when my shots, whenever I would land my shots, more times than not, I'm not saying every time, but whenever I would land, more times than not, when I would land my shots, he would move back, even if it's a step or two. When he would land my shots, I stayed in front of him and came forward. Uh, More times than not. I'm not saying every time. My shots were spinning him around. You know, like I don't know how much more powerful it can get other than that. Like I'm kicking you and it's spinning you around. It's like, man, that's a power shot in my eyes. Yeah, he did land some good shots, but man, I'm a professional.
The best round I had for him was round 2. And did you have any other rounds that you saw him winning, or do you have all 5 rounds for yourself?
I feel like the fourth one was closer than the second one. I
Yeah.
feel like I took the second. I feel like I would give him the fourth if he did take a round. But still, in my eyes, it was even giving him that fourth round. It was 4-1, in my opinion.
And how was it clinching with someone that was unexpectedly bigger, way bigger than you thought? I seen you winning a lot of the clinch battles, but how was it?
Um, it wasn't nothing new, man. I fight giants. I don't know what it is about my weight class, but more times than not, I have people who are that tall. So it's just like it was just another day. Oh, okay, hold on. She just
Yeah,
handed me my
it's
you know,
hardware.
she's handed me my certification.
And going back to Richard Abraham, I honestly believe that that fight was a little bit closer than this fight that just went with Alex Bublé.
Man, I don't know. I know I felt good in both fights. This fight, I decided to stand in front of my opponent a little bit more. Uh, a little bit more than I did with Richard. But man, either way, it's like I felt phenomenal on both fights.
One thing I love about you, Eddie, is your artistic mind. There's one thing about the Resistance is that you got John Herney. Why you guys mix so well? You got John Herney, who's like a management type, the general, and then you got you, who has this outside the box thinking, and you're artistic when you talk about things. One thing I went to spar with you guys, and you said that stood out to me. You got to tune your instrument. You got to tune
Yeah.
your body. And when it comes to training and envisioning the fight, like how often do you envision the fight?
I don't try to envision. But when you do things repetitively, it's almost like you see it everywhere. There's times where I'll just daydreaming is a perfect example. The same way we fall into daydreaming, I just fall into daydreaming a lot, visualizing the fight. I don't choose when to visualize it. It just, I just end up daydreaming about it. And so many scenarios and so many different ways that it can go, because I don't know what my opponents are doing to prepare for me. It's almost like on the Avengers with Doctor Strange, how he would look into multiple times, and scenarios and stuff like that, just seeing different outcomes. Uh, Throughout this camp, every time I visioned, a way that the fight would go, whether it be to the clinch, whether I was against the ropes, whether he was against the ropes, whether he was coming forward, whether I was coming forward, it always ended in me winning.
And they do in the commentary, they did say that he was making you think a little bit. But I didn't see that because you're a great fighter walking backwards, like fighting backwards.
Yeah.
Was there things that he did that were making you think, second guess? What do you think they meant by that?
Again, they're just commentating on what they seen,
Yeah.
watching the fight. I watched it plenty of times now, with and without, on mute and with the sound on. In moments where they're saying, "Oh, he's frustrated right now," or "He's this, he's that," they have no idea what's going on in my head. They have no idea. They have no idea what's going on in the conversation that me and him are having between each other. They're just looking at it from a third person view and projecting what they think is happening. You know, uh, not once was I frustrated, like, or it was just it's a fight.
Yeah.
I've said it before the fight that adjustments need to be made. Oh, this door is closed. Okay, let me try to work my way around. Let me wiggle around. But that doesn't mean I'm frustrated. We're trying to figure each other out. You know what I mean? Two high level fighters trying to figure each other out. So it's just like I just wiggle my way through. Uh, Again, they're just the commentators, regardless of how they felt the fight went, or whatever they were seeing or saying. A little bit, they really didn't know what was going on in my head. You know, that's like me telling you what you're thinking right now if you just sit here and gaze at me. It's like, nah, I have no idea. Have no idea what's going on in your head. I'm just trying to do my job. I understand there's pressure as being a commentator to have to speak about stuff, but you know what I mean. Sometimes that can lead you in the wrong direction.
And I'm not taking anything away from Alex Bublé when I say that it was in a close fight. The guy fought better than he did in a lot of other fights where he was really trying to crack the code, the Eddie Abasolo code, and he just couldn't crack
Yeah,
it. And the one thing you said at the end of the fight was he spoke my language. What does that mean?
yeah. Oh, because Brandon had asked me what like what was I thinking when he leaned against the ropes and was like, "Come on." When I say you spoke my language, you know, so I knew what to say. It's like, nah. It's like, no, I'm not coming in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll keep my distance. I'll stay right here. And that's exactly what I did. That's why we kind of looked at each other. You know what I mean? Like smirked at each other because it's like, come on, come on. I'm like, nah, man, I know that game. You know, I'm not. I'm not gonna do what you want me to do.
Yeah.
You know. But that's what I mean by he was speaking my language, and I just knew what to say.
And then the did you know his shin was messed up that bad during the fight?
I didn't know it was messed up that bad. I knew it was messed up, but I didn't realize how bad it was messed up. Um, Even after, I believe it happened in the second round. Even after that, he continued to kick and I continued to check. And you'll even see, I believe it's in the fifth round where he kicks me again and I check it. And then I point at it and look at him.
Yeah.
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 But I think that I'm not sure what the rules are. I'm not sure if you can get a stoppage from a cut on the shin. Possibly, yeah, possibly no. I'm not quite too sure what the rule is on that.
Well, I
But it
think
was
if
a
you're
nasty cut.
yeah, it
It
was. I
was
think if
gushing.
the bone's showing, I think they do kind of have to stop it, right?
Probably, yeah.
But you guys were in Mexico, so
Yeah,
I don't know how the rules work over there.
yeah.
How was that, by the way? How was it being in Mexico for the second time?
Oh man, it was better than the first time,
Yeah.
'cause I gained so many fans after the first time, It's like seen a lot of familiar faces and all my peeps out in Mexico, like it was all love once I was out there, man. It was dope.
And you're so relatable to me and some of my teammates that have grown up in the Bay Area. I grew up in San Jose, California, and it's just a different vibe out there. I mean, Vallejo is
Yeah.
a Bay Area city, and you carry a swagger that not that many fighters do, especially in Muay Thai, right?
Yeah.
And I just want to ask you, like, is there any crazy stories you have from the Bay Area? Like when people talk about the Bay Area, when I grew up, it was sideshows and
Yeah.
the hyphy movement and all that stuff. Were there any crazy stories growing up for you?
Uh Man. Yeah, I'm just happy that I grew up before social media was a thing, before cameras were everywhere and things were documented, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh not stories that I could think of off top, but I know I've been through some crazy stuff, man. Like I think I was in high school or just got out of high school at the peak of the hyphy movement, man. It was crazy. It was so much fun, man. It's just the people from that generation, shoot, even beyond that generation. I don't know, man. Even before that generation, the Bay Area's just been lit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How did you find Muay Thai? Like Muay Thai is not something that's I know it's big in the California, but when it comes to like inner cities or like I grew up in the East Side San Jose, there wasn't a bunch of Muay Thai schools growing up. How did you find it?
Yeah, man. It's funny because I remember, and this is why I say I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for my wife either. Because me and B became friends because she used to braid my hair. I used to have long hair back then too. And her brother Elvin, we became friends as well. And then when me and Bernadette kind of hooked up, uh, I moved in with them, and I would sit there and watch Muay Thai fights with her brother Elvin. Um, like that's all we would do. He had a bag in his room, and he would watch Muay Thai fights. He would draw
Was
Muay
he a
Thai
Muay Thai
fighters.
fighter?
Not at the time. Me and
Yeah.
him started at the same time,
Yeah.
but yeah, we would watch fights and stuff like that. And uh, I was just learning what Muay Thai was. And then one day I was at 24 Hour Fitness, and I ran into one of my boys, and we just seen what each other's been up to. And he was like, "Yeah, man, I've been training Muay Thai over here at this spot. It was actually a Taekwondo school with Master Jones in Vallejo. And in the back there was well, first before the back was even there, we shared the mat with them. It was just like a small group of us, and so we started training. Me and my brother-in-law would go train, and first we didn't take it serious, and then one thing just led to another. Started taking it a little bit more serious. Started trying to learn the stuff that we were watching on the fights. Start trying it out, this and that, and things just started to snowball from there.
And like being someone that trains with Kevin Ross is known for no matter how big he got, he kind of never went away from Muay Thai. He's always fought Muay Thai. He didn't go into MMA at a big
Yeah,
level. He stuck with them with Muay Thai no matter what. Like,
yeah.
why do you do the same thing? I know you train a little bit of jujitsu. I see some videos with you and Darren. And what is it for you that keeps you in the Muay Thai game?
Uh, my passion. I love Muay Thai. I love like it's my first love. Well, I don't know, man, because boxing. I really love boxing, and I've never got around to doing a boxing match. But I love throwing my hands, man. I love
Yeah.
my hands. Um, I love using my hands. But I've been dabbling a lot more in MMA, man. But like nothing will ever replace Muay Thai. Um, really, I just wanted to get to know my body more, which is why I dabble in MMA. I want to know how to manipulate my body in other ways, and it's actually helped me better understand my stand up, um, as well as learn how to manipulate someone else. You know, it's all just a battle of structure and whether you're standing or you're on the ground or whatnot. Uh, but man, you know, I I've been falling in love with Muay Thai. I mean, MMA a little bit more.
So
Muay Thai will always be my first love, though.
are you saying you might step into the MMA world?
Hey, man, it's an option. You know, it's an
And
option.
now that you're the WMC champion, and that you're the second, so it's your second defense, or no, your defense of the Triumphant championship.
Yeah.
Who's next? Do you have anybody you want to fight?
I don't want to fight nobody. I'm I'm the one with the crown.
Yeah,
I don't want to fight. I'm at the top of the hill. Y'all got to come get me. I'll be here. I'll be ready. Uh, I'm gonna stay ready. The
yeah.
thing is, man, especially with that being said, going back to the fight this past weekend, I had everything to lose. You know what I mean? My opponent came in and he had everything to gain. I had a title on the line, so I had to defend the title as well as fight for the WMC title. Uh, so that means I'm the champ already. When you fight the champ, you got to take it from the champ. You know, I'm not gonna bring the fight to you. I will at the right times, but at the bottom line, at the end of the day, if you gonna come and fight the champ and you're trying to take the crown, you got to take it. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
like that. That's another reason why I felt like I won.
yeah.
He didn't take it from me. He may have brought the fight to me. It was a great fight, 150 plus fights to my 15. You know what I mean? It's like I think people tend to forget that I'm only 15 fights deep in here, fighting people who was Richard was 40 plus. I could be wrong, it could be more. Uh uh Alex, um
Hundreds.
150 plus. You know what I mean? To
Yeah.
my 15, man.
That's what I find mind-boggling. You're from Vallejo, California. You only have under 20 fights, and you're fighting this guy from Romania, and you're beating these guys that have trained all their lives, and you're from a city that doesn't even know about Muay Thai as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
A
crazy.
little bitty city by the water, man.
um, But do you have any dream fights? Like, if you could pick one person, I know you're saying you're at the top of the hill, but I'm talking about a dream fight, someone that you want to fight. You're at the end of your career, by the end of your career.
um I don't really have
Yeah.
names.
Do
You
you
know what I
see you
mean?
and Asa Tenpow fighting ever, or
Uh,
meet in the middle?
prob pr probably not.
Yeah,
Funny thing is Asa's one of my
Asa.
boys too. Shout out Asa, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Um, After I beat Richard, he actually told me that night. He was like, "Bro, I would love to fight you, man. I would love to fight you. We're kicking it. You know what I mean? We're
yeah,
smoking stogies and shit." Uh, and he's like, I would love to see, on some martial arts stuff. That's what's dope about Asa, man. Like it's all respect, but he's down to test himself, you know what I mean, against whoever, wherever. And that's how it should be, you know what I mean? Masters trying to test their craft against each other. Uh but our weights are just too far apart. You know what I mean? I'd have to cut too low and he'd have to come up too high. Um but you know what I mean? Like we've talked about, just like
Yeah.
cross training and stuff like that, man, just to feel each other's level. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That
Yeah.
that that's a dream fight for me to see you guys fight. I know you guys are boys, but that's a dream fight for me. So
Yeah.
yeah, man. I just want to thank you, Eddie. There's one thing about you that I've sparred you 3 times. I could literally count the times I've sparred you, and I sparred you 3 times. All 3 of those
Yeah.
times, I've taken something from it. And
Tight.
you really, like, after sparring you and showing me how someone at your level could go so soft and kick my ass at the same time. You really, like, because I'm from a small town, Los Banos, California. I'm coming back
Yeah.
to my training room and trying to get everybody to spar like how you're sparring. It was like, no, we don't need to go
Yeah.
hard. We don't need to blast each other.
Yeah.
You're just from 3 times of sparring you, you're influencing me on others that come into the gym.
Oh, tight. That's tight, man. I mean, if we look back to the old kung fu movies that we grew up watching, right? Uh, when the bully bad guy steps up to the master, you know, and he flexes and whatever, the master, he drinking his tea or whatnot. Uh, all he does is he puts his teacup down, and then he kicks the cigarette out of the guy's mouth. He doesn't touch him. He kicks the cigarette out of his mouth. Why does he do that? Because that's more scarier. Being able to control where I put my strikes and show that I can hit you, but I'm choosing mercy. Uh, that's where real skill is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone can throw their body weight around and go hard, but to be able to control yourself, like that's where real skill is. You know what I mean?
So you showed me mercy 3 times that I went with you. Thank you.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. But yeah, I just want to thank you for doing this. The stage is yours to shout out anybody or any last words for anybody out there.
uh, Man, I got a long list of sponsors. But I made a post. Go on my IG, Eddie Abasolo show. To check that out. You know what I mean? Check out all my sponsors, what I be doing on the daily, my teammates. Shout out to my teammates. Shout out to the Resistance. You know what I mean? Shout out to Triumph United. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? For the world and the WMC. You see it.
Yeah.
Shout out Jesse. Shout out everybody, man, who's on this journey with me, man. You know what I mean? Like we out here, bro. Like we just getting started. That's it.
Hell yeah. And one thing I'm going to say is that you and George need to start a podcast.
Oh man, y'all ain't ready for that.
Like, you guys need one, man. You guys got
Yeah.
a room right there.
Oh, for sure, man. Hey, we got a lot of stuff brewing at the Resistance, man. It's not just fight stuff, so just keep your eyes on us, you know.
Oh yeah, and then Kevin Ross seminar. You guys are doing the grand opening, right?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Thanks for reminding me, man. We uh September 4th, Kevin Ross seminar. Go on the IG, you'll be able to find it. Yeah, man. Kevin's
I
gonna
think
come
$80
bless us.
for members, and then $100 for people outside members.
Yep.
Yeah.
September 4th, 85 for members, 100 for non-members. You know what I mean? Here goes the flyer right here.
A little bit lower. A little bit lower.
Oh, 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 oh.
Yeah. And I'll put it up. I'll
Yeah,
put the flyer.
yeah,
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 hell yeah.
man. Kevin Ross gonna come bless us with his presence, man.
Yeah, one of my favorite fighters.
Hey, mine too.
Hey, thank you again, Eddie.
All right, brother. Thank you. When you fight the